Hi, and welcome to the new normal. I'm your host, Lisa Davis, aka Like Quinn Lisa. Today is December 6th. So, tomorrow is the anniversary of D Day. First of all, we want to RED on a Friday. Remember, everybody deployed. Thank you so much for your service. And especially as tomorrow is the anniversary of D Day, I want to talk to Westwood. He's great with history and stuff. And I asked Grok a little bit about it, so I'm all grokked up. And I would love to hear what you all have to say about it in the chat. So it sounds like you guys are already pre-partying in the chat. If you aren't in the live chat on a happy hour, definitely try to get there, jump in. There's great people in there sharing lots of good information. So we'll be back with Westwood right after this. Give us a like and share the video. Welcome back, Westwood. Happy D-Day Eve.
D-Day. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Pearl Harbor
Tomorrow.
Day. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think it's notable that Trump is going to Notre Dame tomorrow.
Notre Dame. Oh, yes. And that was, you remember? I remember. So that was what, 2019, April 15th of all days when that thing was burned, I think.
Mia's birthday.
Right. And maybe burning down the tax collectors. I don't know.
Other things. Yes. Yeah. So I looked up what Grok had to say. First, I looked on like Google and it was like, I was worried I was getting MK Ultra or something.
Yeah.
So
I'd rather get Grok than Google.
I went ahead and got Grok. And I said, just tell me about D-Day. D-Day is the short for Decision Day. It's a pivotal military operation during World War II, officially known as Operation Neptune. I've never heard that. Which I'd love to gematria the crap out of this later. I'll be looking at Operation Neptune and see what it says. And then it says overview. Oh, what? This is June 6th.
Yeah, that's D-Day, like the invasion of Normandy. Tomorrow's Pearl Harbor Day.
Pearl Harbor Day.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm like, wait a minute.
That's why I thought maybe you had like there's a different thing going on here, a different timeline shift vibe. I wasn't sure.
Okay, so Pearl Harbor Day. I was connecting that with
Harbor
Day. Okay.
There's probably some significance to it. There are no coincidences in this.
June 6th. Is that somebody's birthday? 6/6/1960. I don't know. That's probably a 666 thing. Okay. Glad we had a little correction early on. This is why I need you here.
Right. That's right.
So National
Pearl Harbor Day.
Pearl Harbor Day.
Which one is it? Is it the USS Arizona that's down there still leaking oil? I think it is.
Oh God, is it?
I think that's the name of it. Yeah, it's still bubbling oil up from getting sank.
So it was commemorates Pearl Harbor attack by Imperial Japanese Navy Air Service on December 7th, 1941.
Yep.
And historical significance marked a pivotal moment, prompted the U.S. to declare war on Japan.
That was a scam.
Interesting.
Nobody wanted to get into World War II. I mean, because, it was basically Germany, and so a lot of Germans in the U.S. at the time, and like, hey, a lot of our heritage, we just came over from Germany, and it's like, we don't want to go to war with Germany. And so nobody wanted the war. Well, if those Japanese people that don't look like us so much come flying over and hit us in the back, well, now we got a problem. Well, that got instigated if you really look into it. Roosevelt wanted it to happen. Maybe I shouldn't say Roosevelt, but the powers that be, the war machine and military-industrial complex wanted it to happen and goaded it to happen and kind of nudged the Japanese in many ways to make it happen until it freaking happened. Sorry, I'm dropping F-bombs already.
No, you're good. So you know how you mentioned the Arizona a marble memorial over the sunken battleship, the U.S. Arizona, but then it says the USS Oklahoma and the USS Utah, which, as I had my probably some kind of divine mess up, the D-Day thing talks about Oklahoma and Utah, but as not Oklahoma. What is that other beach? Utah is one of the beaches, and
Isn't it Omaha? I thought it was Omaha. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't remember.
Omaha and
Yeah, I don't know. I got nothing.
it has like some connection there. Anyway.
Yeah. Not sure.
So tomorrow, when because D-Day. So when I'm reading the stuff about D-Day, that was talking about freeing France from the Nazis and all that, and so that's why I was like, oh yeah, this is making sense. But I skipped over the date.
Oh, I got you.
So I had the wrong event.
Wrong timeline.
Whoops. Sorry.
Across the streams.
Yeah, I was in June, and it's December.
But who knows what the real calendar month is at this point, right? Nobody knows. It's all switched up and turned around.
I don't know.
I don't either.
The schools across the U.S. often include lessons about Pearl Harbor in their World War II teaching curriculum. Remembrance of the lives lost and the American involvement of World War II, but also a day to reflect on peace, vigilance, and the cost of war.
Yes, the cost of war and the people who profit from it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Not good for the people.
Yeah, I also heard that what's it called? The Jill Biden is going to be there, which I'm like, why is Jill going to be there in France?
What?
At Notre Dame? Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what's going on with that
pack or something, Jill.
Chat show. Yeah, exactly.
I think she's got other things to do.
You would think. You would think. Isn't it creepy? Because when you see the Biden family, they said some, I don't know, they were doing something, and I saw the Biden family, and Ashley's always there, like next to Daddy. And it's just so bizarre and weird, and just weird.
That one that she wrote
Yeah.
So apparently, when right before Hunter got pardoned, he told Daddy that he was writing a tell-all book over the Thanksgiving holiday.
Really?
That's what I read.
Well, heck, just give him the USB backup of the laptop. Here's the book.
Right. I think it's pretty much everybody's seen it on the web anyway. But
yeah, I mean, it's no surprises. But I mean, here we go again, pardoning. And I get it. I mean, I've seen the other side of it to where it could be, well, there's no Fifth Amendment now. He can't, use the Fifth if he's ever called to testify. I mean, I get it, but I mean, is he going to get called to testify? I guess is the thing. If he's never put on stand, then
is it a way that his and I'm just totally asking, I don't know, but is it a way that it could be using his laptop as testifying, and that way that can't be, the Fifth Amendment has removed any protection by this?
That could be. That's a good point. That's a good point. Because there might be something incriminating on there that they could make it not admissible. You know what I mean? Anything on the well, no, there's private information or something that That's a good point. That's probably a better angle than him testifying.
So now that he's
not getting introduced without the question of, hey, it's violating his rights and all this. Well, nothing to violate because
it's not about Hunter getting in trouble. It's about Hunter exposing what Daddy was doing with all his crooked friends.
I mean, how obvious can it be? Well, he's not guilty of anything since the 1st of January 2014. It's like, duh, what happened? Burisma and all the board and nefarious activities in Ukraine. And I mean, come on. So obvious. That's what I mean. Get your popcorn, watching a movie here.
That was my thumbnail for
I know. I saw it. I'm like,
show was Trump sitting there with all the popcorn, because I'm sure they were saying on one of the shows today, I think it was like Fox something, and Melania was being interviewed about her book and all this, which she said she's never done the Trump dance ever. I was kind of surprised, but she also was talking about well, so many things, but
Yes. So many things
she
I'm thinking about now. You know how that would work.
and now
Anyway,
I'm distracted. Yeah, because
yeah.
I'm like, wait a minute, she was talking about all the foster care because she did a lot of work for kids in foster care. She started that Be Best program. They've been putting kids. They have scholarships for kids that like aged out of foster care without a family, which that's us failing us as a community failing that child, because we removed them from an unsafe situation, but then we didn't step in for them fully. So, like, I don't know. She's just done some amazing, great stuff. But what was my whole point of that? Something she said. Oh, was the Fox people talking about crap. I'm so distracted now because I got
Were they in the hen house? I don't know.
were they what?
I don't know. They're talking about foxes and hen houses, and I don't know.
Oh, no.
Thinking chicken, Litecoin chickens,
Litecoin chickens.
all the things in my head.
Oh man.
Got circus dancing around in there.
I know. Me too. I have too much.
So yeah, I don't know what Melania said. Melania.
Oh gosh.
Well, that stinks.
Now I'm distracted. If I think of it, I'll bring back up. But
rock it up.
speaking of Litecoin and Litecoin chicken, I was listening last night on the Twitter Spaces, and is it the guy who invented Larry Litecoin, or he just created some NFTs or
Lester Litecoin. Now that was actually created by some guy that's some artist somewhere that jumped in when Litecoin it all started a couple of weeks ago. It seems like an eternity. But somebody they're saying that there's a new intern at the Litecoin Foundation running the @Litecoin handle on X. There's like over 1 million followers on for that, and then came out and said, well, due to market conditions, I now identify as a meme coin. Litecoin speak, and that's come on, Tilly.
It's okay.
Let me make sure I got my mic on. Yeah, I do. Okay. But yeah, I now identify as a meme coin. And then so somebody created this crazy, stupid stick figure, with a Litecoin head and eyeballs. It looks so weird. And they named it Lester Litecoin. And so it's kind of caught on. And so he created these little stick figures, kind of like my Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. He's the guy that did that.
Yeah.
So he created these little stick figures and sold them on the Litecoin Foundation. They all sold out. And it's just kind of a little meme thing, Litecoin meme caught on. But yeah, he was talking last night about all that.
Yeah, so he was talking about those, and
a big shout out real quick. You can go to arttoy.org.
You cannot buy any of them.
Oh, you can actually. There's 2 of them on auction right now. They're cripples.
There's 3 of them, and they're $5,000 a piece.
No. I asked him about that. He says, no, I just put that out there. You actually can click on it and bid on it, and then the one sold. Yeah, the one crippled one with the crutch, I didn't get it. It sold for like 2.39 Litecoin, and today, and then the 2 other ones, it's got an eyeball missing with a patch, and then the other one, they're still on auction, and you can go bid on them, I think, for another 16 hours or something. But yeah, that one sold for 2.39 Litecoin today, which is what?
That's
200
awesome.
Over $300.
Yeah, I didn't. As soon as I saw $5,000 a piece, I went to all products, and everything else is sold out.
I know he sold out all that stuff. It's really cool because see, there's a little Lester guy. There it is. See, there's 2 of them up at the top. You can scroll all the way up there, way at the top, and you'll see there's 2 still on auction. See, the one sold, and these are like rejects because he made a run of like 21 of them, and then some of them got damaged and this and that. So he figured, well, I'm going to sell these on auction because they're unique and one of a kind, and instead of just scrapping them. So yeah, what's the bid on that one? Right now,
the right eye is number bids 5 bids, current bid $140.
Okay.
So, looks like Clint Westwood, CW.
Come on, man, that's not me.
They're doxing you. That's funny.
That could be anybody. It's funny. The first bid on all of them was CL, and I'm like, I think I might know who that is.
That's funny.
Supporting the community, getting it kickstarted. Yep.
Charlie Lee.
So it's pretty funny. And you can put whatever name you want in there. I mean, I looked at it.
Now I know to make up a different name.
Yeah, exactly. Don't put LL, or LD.
I'll be Clara.
Clara Peller. Where's the beef?
I don't know.
But yeah, just make something up. It doesn't matter. They do want your email address so they can contact you, but other than that, you can put whatever name you want in there. And so when it bids, it'll show the first two initials. But yeah, so there's two of those. We'll see what happens. It's pretty cool though. He's a pretty good artist. I like his stuff is really neat and unique. So I've got this thing that I don't know if I've showed on
I
Happy
just
Hour,
think
but
it's fun that he's like doing something that people can engage with. Oh yeah, the Stay Puffed.
the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man is like flattened. I bought this at the Litecoin Summit, and I said, "Put an L on its butt." He's like, "A Litecoin's down for the count." The Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. And Litecoin wasn't doing too well then in price. I thought it was just funny. I keep it on the bar.
Yep.
Anyway, it's good stuff, and it's very unique because a lot of it's one of one. It's like he makes one style and that's it, and he'll make varieties of it. But it's how NFTs, it was like they all look the same, but they got different characteristics and features and this stuff. Well, this is the same thing, except it's actually an item, a tangible thing you can hold in your hand that he created. So I think it's cool. I support it. Pay with Litecoin if I win any of these little Lester things and put them in the bar.
And you can pay with Litecoin because it's listed in like dollars, but
it is. But you can pay with Litecoin.
Okay.
If it's not on there when you check out, they'll send you a QR code. That's how I did it at the summit. Just gave me a QR code and I paid him.
Okay. So you have to create an account, the whole thing. We'll have to focus on that later.
Yeah, okay. It's easy. Just put your email in.
We'll figure it out. Get on the list. Get on the list. There's so much.
Arttoy.org. Arttoy.org.
What?
Arttoy.org.
Arttoy.org. Yeah. Yep. There's so much happening in the courts and stuff. I wanted to check in on Beatles. He was supposed to have his Supreme Court hearing this morning for all the flipped votes in Nevada.
Yeah.
So I don't know how that turned out. Let me see if I can find.
Flipping the votes.
Robert Beatles. Oh, he didn't give an answer. He didn't give a response yet. That's interesting that so I know they were having the hearing today. The 9 justices behind closed doors are meeting. Even it was this morning even. So 9 justices behind closed doors will determine whether the case moves forward or they kill it. The case highlights all the issues with the elections, how to save them, which is the important part. Because I have been having discussions with this man. This man has more patents than anyone I know. You pretty much cannot go. How did he quote it to me? He said, I asked him, how many do you have? My God. He was like, you pretty much can't walk into any, how did he say it? 7-Eleven without having to use multiple patents of mine or something like this.
Really?
He also has done some work with the post office. That was early on in when I met him, in 2018. So I don't know. I think there's interesting stuff going on there. So he's a good guy for sure. But, we won't know their decision for a few days to a week. Okay. So
all right. Keep you in suspense.
Yeah. But good stuff. Good man. And definitely a patriot.
Definitely is. A good dude.
Yeah. Cares about our country.
He likes cigars.
Does he?
Yeah.
I think it must be a man thing. I don't know.
Had a big old fat cigar when I first met him in Ohio.
Really?
Yeah.
I did not see him smoking. I feel like he's more healthy than that. No offense.
He didn't inhale.
Oh, Lord. Okay.
What? I don't inhale. I just puff on it.
Yeah. That's good. Yeah. Keep blowing that shit out.
Oh, here's Tilly Monster. Here we go.
Welcome, BBDA Thug. So glad to have you here. And big prayers for Mitch. apparently he went to the hospital and
Yeah, what's
having
going
some
on,
health
Mitch?
issues. So sending Mitch all of our love and support and hoping all is well.
Get yourself better, brother.
Yes. 100. J Max in the house. Good to see our J Max channel.
Mac.
Yeah.
The Mac of the J is in the house. Love it.
So who was posting? Was it Daddy-O? Somebody posted a screenshot of Tron having 53% gains this week.
Oh yeah,
There
it
are a
pumped.
couple of coins that are already started, altcoins that have already started pumping.
I know.
Do you think we're gonna see
Litecoin.
more of that?
I saw that.
Yeah.
Tron, it definitely pumped.
Will we see more of that? Do you think?
Oh yeah, no, I'm sorry, I missed it. Yeah, I think so. You're seeing them all pop off. This is typically what happens when you get in that final stage, that leg of the bull market. I mean, we've been in the bull market. I mean, it's just not everybody thinks, oh, we're in the bull market when everything's just like going like this and this. It's like, no, we're in the bull market now. It's just that we're not in that last euphoric phase yet, but you're seeing bubbling up of that. That will continue. If this is your first time in a crypto cycle, it's going to get crazy in the next few months, where it's just you won't even be able to think straight. And you'll see these things fly.
Turn
it's
the
crazy.
video off. Your heart can't take it. Don't look at your wallet.
Yeah, right, Tron. Yeah, if I had any, but yeah.
I have like a very little bit, which is weird. But I had one. Mom and I had both won like a contest from them or something.
Okay. Yeah.
And I think I swapped most of it into Litecoin, but
yeah.
I still had like a little dust or whatever
I
had left in my wallet.
Yeah.
And so then I looked at it and I was like, oh, well,
like, cool. Wow.
It kind of
moved up. And then today I noticed it went down a little bit. It retraced.
Okay.
But see, that's what happens. I mean, these things will go. You saw this XRP thing here in the last few weeks to where it went from 60 cents all the way up to a peak of $2.90. Just went crazy up.
Because and now it's fake news.
Doing the it's because all the news.
Because of all the people lying about the RLD.
Oh yeah, the USD stable thing, and then Ripple announces something. Well, we're not going to give an exact timeline when it's going to happen, but everybody thought it was going to be 2 days ago or something, and then they kind of like, oh well, it's happening, but see you in 8 years, kind of thing.
Well, and that the fact that Brad Garlinghouse has multiple times said like that XRP is totally separate from the company, all this. I mean, they might use it, but they are not beholden to it. And then this whatever thing, which my friend Miggy, you know Miggy, he's friends with Kenny Bozak.
Miggy Wild.
Yeah. And he was posting we're friends on Facebook as well. And he's like, we're in this Oklahoma crypto group. And this guy was shilling the shit out of XRP and talking about the RUSD and how.
Yeah, was it RPUSD or RLUSD?
RLUSD, I think.
Something like that.
And they were saying it's real USD and all this bullshit. And he's like, you are so stupid. You're taking it's like an article from like a vanity magazine or some kind of
right.
Like it wasn't even a tech or financial
like an opinion column or something, you know. Yeah.
And it had nothing to do with Ripple. And he's like, anyone can do what that just did. It does not tie itself or connect to Ripple. But that just shows like a lot of the people that are have come into crypto, and especially as this is a concern for me because, I had heard about Nicera, and people are talking about that, but they then tie things to something that somebody really believes in strongly. And they say, yeah, and this is the way it's going to roll out. Well, I don't think any of us know how it's going to roll out. And not that Nicera is going to roll out. I'm not saying that. But however, this system, we know that like the US dollar is in trouble.
Yeah.
And our financial system is in somewhat of a impending doom crash. And we don't know how it's going to roll out and what the cycle is to fix it is going to be. But a lot of people speculate. Mm-hmm. But then to tie that to and then start pushing this coin which I'm sure they're
The
selling.
end all be all. It's going to save everything, and everything's going to be traded at cross border payments and all this stuff. And it's like, I mean, yeah, I get it conceptually, but still, I'm trying to find what's the underlying value of holding the token. I guess. I mean, I get the utility of it, but it's not like it's a finite supply. I mean, it is. I mean, there's 100 billion of, what is it? I don't even know. There's 100 billion of them, and 43 billion of them are still held by Ripple. I mean, talk about a Satoshi stash. Jeez.
Well, and what's the benefit of, so if the banks go down, if SWIFT goes down, then where's your use case there? Because if we go to a peer-to-peer economy,
Right. What good is it then?
What good is it?
Mhm.
You know? Anyway, we'll all find, like Tom said, we'll find out soon enough.
That's it. You're going to find out. We'll find out. And that's it. I mean, I just look at the market cap of it and, what it's worth. It's like number 3 behind, it's dog. Number 3 behind. Can you hear her barking?
No, yes, I can hear her barking. But Mitch is saying, so is it better to hold your crypto or sell into a dying asset? No, I wouldn't sell into a dying asset, but you can hold cryptos that aren't backed by nothing. You can have proof of work and things that have longevity and things that are what we consider hard assets. And you have to figure out what a hard asset is yourself and not a dying asset. Or, like you said, buy things that help improve your life, your quality of life. That exactly. So whether that's gold, silver, land, whatever that is that improves the quality of your life or helps another person. So yeah, a GMC truck, sure, why not?
Right, exactly. Something of value, something real life stuff. I mean, but the thing is, I mean, you're going to need. Listen, if it's not a form of digital money, then what is it? You know what I mean? I mean, it's just another fiat creation. And it's not that it's something that you can really hold. It's purely defined by math, and that's the thing with a lot of these cryptos. That's what makes Bitcoin so attractive, is that it's defined by math. There's only so many of them, and it has a utility of I can pay anybody around the world with it. And and if you believe that it has value, just like people believe the U.S. Fed note has value, then it's gonna attract that energy. Mm-hmm. And the fact that you can move that energy anywhere you want to move that energy, that's the utility of the whole thing. And some of these coins or anything can be, any crypto can be money, but some money's better than other money. You know what I mean?
The community that uses it decides that.
Yeah, if you don't use it, I mean, again, that was my video that I didn't post today. I'm like, if you don't use it, then what is it good for? I mean, like I think you said, or Dave said, pet rocks. How many pet rocks you want to collect? And it's like, it might be valuable to you, but if nobody else wants it, it's nice and pretty. And it's got little eyes on it, and you look at it, but
we call them safe queens at our house. we do not have any safe queens. If we buy a car, we drive it. If we buy a gun, we shoot it. If we have crypto, we use it. If we have, anything like that. Like if you're not experiencing it, and life is short. Life is so short. And if you have people in your life, you better be loving them. They better be loving you back. And everything in your life should bring you joy. There was one of these little, YouTuber ladies, and she's like the gift of joy or something like this. I don't know. And she's like an organizer lady. And she's like, if it doesn't spark joy in your life, you get rid of it.
Right. Oh, if it's a burden and you're just like, I gotta, whatever, I gotta make sure this thing's humidity controlled, this painting, and make sure that it's, very, I can't, can't experience it or whatever, like a car you don't drive. You know what I mean? It just sits there, you go out and polish it once in a while, but you never drive it. And I'm just like, okay, I mean, just go out and feel it, I guess, and maybe that gives you joy. But it's like it's meant to be driven. Drive it.
Yeah, we have no safe queens, no garage queens, no Picassos in the attic.
There you go.
None of that at our house. And I hope none of you do either. Like, I hope that we all never value an item more than the experience, which leads me into what I did, what I was going to talk to you about. So there's this darling couple, and they are, I have a traveling spirit. Like, I want to travel and all this.
Mhm.
My husband, not so much. So
You're
vicariously,
with me today.
sometimes I drag Westwood out places, but if not, if I can't do that, then I was watching this show, and like, so I watched the series or watching the series, and they're like they made a tiny house out of a bus, and he's a photographer and she's a scientist, and then they travel and they go shoot people's weddings and stuff. And
Yeah,
but they said they were
they're
both
pictures. They don't
military
shoot the
kids.
people. They take pictures of the people, right?
Do what?
They don't shoot the people. They take pictures of the people,
Yeah,
right?
they take pictures.
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
Anyway, they were both military kids, and so they had grown up traveling a lot and seeing a lot of the world.
Mhm.
And one thing, as they were dating and, finding each other, discovering each other, they said one of the things that was our truth, or that we agreed on for our family moving forward, was that a lot of people that we saw in different cultures, some of the most happy cultures do not have a lot of things, because things can end up owning you or weighing you down.
Yeah.
But they
No kidding.
they choose experiences and relationships over things. And so that was part of their motivation for like doing this whole tiny house. And then they got a big dog, and the dog got bigger than they expected, kind of like your little monster there.
Mhm.
And so they got a bigger RV. But I just thought of that, we got into this in you and I's generation, went from like our parents growing up in the 1950s. The American dream was this little house. I mean, they had to be 1,500 square feet or something.
If that.
Less than 2, I know,
Yeah.
1,000. I
If
mean,
you have a 3-story house, you're winning, baby.
yeah. Basically, you had like your kitchen, 2, maybe 3 bedrooms,
Mhm.
1 bathroom for everyone to share, and a living area.
Yeah.
And a garage. And that was the American dream in one car.
Yeah.
And
That's all you needed.
and that was like the 50s. And then
Stop.
we got into this move, fast forward, we were born in the 70s, and then grown up in the 80s with all the big hair and cocaine and gluttony and all the mega mansion, or what do they call them? McMansions or whatever.
Excess, and greed is
Yes.
good, win, whoever has the most toys when they die wins.
Right. And I think now the pendulum is swinging back the other way. And it's exciting to see these kids choosing, like, even Charlie and I's kids are talking about like having a farm, like a mini farm on like a little acreage, and living in a barn dominium, and being able to like shut the house down and travel, or have a little farm where they can grow their own vegetables and homeschool their kid and whatever. It's just really cool seeing like the values kind of change.
Yeah, I mean, that's the whole cycle of things. You kind of return because it got so ridiculous. Everything got financialized and so much about money, and everything got overpriced. And now you've got organizations that own all the homes and bid the price up because they don't care. Got all the money they can print, and so people like reject that. It's like, well, this is stupid. I just want to go minimalist, and so you kind of go to the other extreme, and I want to go tiny house and just be left alone, do my own thing wherever I want to be. And, so you see that it happens.
Yeah. No, it's cool though to watch the next generation like choose what their theme or what they value, how their values change, from watching their parents maybe make mistakes or live differently or whatever.
Right,
so
right.
I don't know. It's kind of exciting to watch.
Yeah.
They're
Not
learning.
depending upon government anymore, not depending upon Social Security and thinking it's going to be there, not thinking retirements are going to be there. More of a mindset of, hey, I just need to build something now, live in the now, and not have, oh, I'll have a better life, after I'm 60, that kind of thing.
Waiting till retirement to enjoy yourself.
When your hips are broken, your knees don't work, and your back, aches, and you can't do anything, and you can't go anywhere and do, you know what I mean? It's like, they saw that happen, with the generations before, and they're like, well, I'm not doing that. That's crazy.
Yeah. Live your life now.
Move to Florida and go on the golf course. Smoke cigars.
All the things. Speaking of Florida and golf courses, I heard they released a video or an audio. They found an audio of OJ admitting to killing Nicole and what's his face. But
Brown. Not Ron Brown. Ron Brown's the one that got assassinated, or well, the plane crashed. Commerce Secretary under Clinton, I think. No, who was it? Not Ron Brown. It was Brown, wasn't it? No, it was Nicole Brown's Ron Goldman.
Brown Simpson, and then
Ron Goldman.
Ronald. What?
Goldman? I think it was Goldman. Yeah. Goldman.
Interesting. I didn't put that together till just now. Goldman. Okay, so that may have something to do with a gold man.
The gold man.
Or that may be a com or something for Goldman. Because he can't be tried again because he's already been tried in criminal and civil court.
He died.
Oh, is he dead?
Yeah, OJ, he did.
Finally died. Huh.
Yeah, so.
But evil lives forever.
Let God sort him out.
I didn't know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so he done. I guess he can have a posthumous conviction now. But like you said, yeah, you can't be tried for double jeopardy. There was something like that, though, to where there was a loophole in one case, and I can't remember what it was, to where the crime that the person was tried, I think it was an Illinois case, actually, a crime that a person was tried for and found innocent of, but then there was like a little, I don't know, he got convicted of something else. I don't know what it was, like witness tampering or something. And so the first trial was illegitimate because the judge was like corrupt or something or in on the fix. And so his double jeopardy rights didn't apply because kind of like the Hunter Biden thing, you know, in a way to where it's like, hey, that doesn't apply because you don't need immunity, you know? So there was a case like that because it was a rigged case and the judge was kind of in on it to where the guy was innocent. But since the judge was complicit, it wasn't a legit trial to begin with, so he got retried and then convicted. Anyway.
Interesting.
And I don't know the name of the case. I think it was in Chicago case, somewhere in Illinois, I think.
Okay. That is interesting. So were we talking about the Hunter thing before we went live, or was that while we were live?
I have no idea. I think we talked about it live for sure, and then we might have talked about it before.
I don't think we did.
I don't know. What are we talking about? What are we going to say?
Well, just like the idea that maybe him getting pardoned is actually a white hat move because it could.
Dude, I think we were talking about that live. Where we chat? Help us out. We're senile.
I think that we were talking about that.
Hang it out at the bar. It's like this is what happens when you go to the bar. It's like you hear the same story 5 times. It's like you already told the story. Shut up.
I think we talked about it before we went live.
But anyway, yeah, it might make the laptop now admissible because it doesn't incriminate Hunter because he can't be incriminated anymore.
Lost his right to or whatever part.
Yeah, there's no Fifth Amendment. You know, hey, I don't want to suffer from self-incrimination, and the laptop would incriminate me in some way. And it's like, well, no, because you've been pardoned, so there's nothing that can be done to you. So now the laptop could be admissible, right?
Right.
And everything on it.
That is my latest theory on why pardoning Hunter is a good thing.
This is why we're always late. See, we don't know what we talked about before the show as opposed to on the show. And so everybody's like, what's taking them so long? Because we're just chatty Cathy's.
I know, which is why we should not do that.
I know.
Then we have
go live
conversations before that we should have on air. And then everybody is like, we didn't talk about that. Yes, we did.
I know.
You weren't there.
Right. You weren't in. Yeah. There was one of my first interviews I ever did. I think it was like in 2019 with, I think it was Map to Success. I mean, I can't remember who it was. It might have been him. We're having a great conversation. We're chatting it up. And the next thing he says is like, okay, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to start recording now. And I'm like, you were recording all that? I like ranted for 20 minutes.
Oh my gosh.
That was kind of funny.
That is funny. Well, it's the learning curve.
Once I pop in and start recording, because you never know. You're going to spill something. My drink mostly.
A bit of wisdom. What did you think about, or do you have any thoughts about Elon bringing his son X, to Congress? You know, he has 12 kids. 12.
I realize he had a dozen. 7. Might as well make it a baker's dozen. What's one more?
12 is a lot.
Well, he's gonna.
But he brings this one child with him, multiple places. And he brought X on his shoulders to Congress.
Oh, yeah, the little guy. Yeah.
To them about the Doge stuff. And I'm like, that's not for no reason.
Is this the same one that was in the picture at Mar-a-Lago?
Yes. That's
Mini-Me.
Mm-hmm.
Mini X.
Oh,
I don't
is
know. There's got to be something to it. I haven't really looked into it. I'm not sure.
that his Baron,
Yeah, maybe.
his
That's
time traveling advisor?
his little future son, future, past, present, and future son. Who knows?
Oh no.
How weird would it be that he's actually the father of Elon in the future, in the past, and in the future?
Can you be your own father? I don't think so.
I think there was a song that was like, "I'm my own grandpa," and then it goes through all the
Really
reasons how.
interesting.
Yeah.
That's a little strange. Super strange.
Yeah, there's probably not many branches on that family tree.
Yeah. Digibyte was up too.
Yeah, it did a nice little run, and then I think it's pulled back a little bit. And that's what you're going to see. You asked about the crypto market. That's what you'll see. You'll see these like this bubbling up. It's like a volcano, to where you get little fissures, and they pop up here, and a little vent pops up, and a little lava flow. You got all this. It's releasing pressure, and then pretty soon you'll see, the monster, the eruption, from the caldera, and it explodes, and and then it's over, and you're round tripping it and waiting 4 more years.
But you are hardcore on the 4-year thing.
It's still, until it doesn't work, it works. I mean, there's still a 4-year cycle, and really it fits into. It's because of the Bitcoin halving, really, because of the supply halves roughly every 4 years, so it becomes more scarce. Litecoin does the same thing. So those coins, or Bitcoin, tends to lead the market, through its, because what it is, all the money invested in, there's trillions at this point. And so every 4 years it goes through a cycle of, and it kind of repeats itself. And it's done that for like almost 4 cycles now. And if it does it again, then, well, it's a cycle until it isn't. And last time everybody said, it's a super cycle, it's going to go on forever, it's never going to stop. And now they're saying it again. And I'm like,
oh gosh, stop.
It's still a 4-year cycle until it isn't.
Yeah. We have some friends, and he's very new to crypto, but he's been in like the buy, sell, barter trade world for a long time. And so he's like, sends us this article or this thing where like they're selling off all this Bitcoin mining equipment. He's like, oh my gosh, you guys need to buy this. I was like, no, dude, that's the point. Like, it's because of the halving. So now it's not, it is cost prohibitive to mine with those machines in Oklahoma from this point forward. Like, you either have to, right? Is that right? You either have to, like,
in a way, Dave can speak to that more, but basically that's what happens, like with, you get better miners every cycle, it seems like, a new one comes out that's much more efficient than, it takes the place of 20 of the old ones, and it does the work of 20 of the old ones and uses, a tenth of the energy. And so, what you have back there is kind of, it's not as efficient, it's like, the older models of the car, it's just not going to do the same things. Doesn't have the horsepower, doesn't have the efficiencies. And so it's just, and that all goes on a cycle too. I mean, at the bottom of the crypto 4-year cycle, that equipment's really cheap. They're giving all of it away for nothing. It's like, let's get rid of this stuff. And then they upgrade, and, they get, and it's just, that's a whole cycle too. And then once it starts peaking, everybody wants to get mining equipment, Litecoin's are $400. I need to mine Litecoin. Well, you should have been doing that.
You could have.
But that's human nature. I mean, everybody FOMOs. It's just like when silver gets to be $50, everybody's going to be like, I need to get some silver. Well, you could have had it for under 20 for years, decades, and now you want it.
Have we heard about this coinciding with Thanksgiving and Christmas? Because all the family members get together and start talking that probably haven't talked all year.
Right.
There is a human energy component in this.
Yes, a lot of it is a human energy component. When you look at the crypto charts, that's basically painting human emotion. And that's why it's fascinating to me, because it's really, that cycle is human beings doing human things. And that's why I say it's always going to be a cycle, because everything, it goes up, it comes down. It goes up, it comes down. Pendulum goes this way, it goes that way. And that's just the way it is. So to think this time is different, to me, proves to me that it's different, because human beings ain't been different for thousands of years. And that's just my argument.
Yeah. I was watching Cliff's Twitter feed, and of course he's talking about the aliens. Some people are saying it didn't happen, but like there's multiple reports of around December 3rd of, floating little car
I did see
size.
a lot of stuff. Yeah.
There's a lot.
Drones over certain neighborhoods that are becoming a
Mhm.
problem, showing up every night, like big drones just flying
Yes.
over and disrupting people. They're like, what is this freaking crap flying over my house? And
Yeah, I can't imagine. Like,
right, how
I was freaked out when a helicopter was harassing me for a few months there. But like
like the
a
movie
drone
Goodfellas. Helicopter's been following me around all day long.
would be a whole nother
Ray Liotta.
thing. But he was also talking about the mycelium connection and how
Yeah.
like we really need. He was pushing to RFK about looking into mushroom healing and microdosing and all this kind of stuff, and so then that made me think of, I watched this one documentary one time. It was so cool, and it talked about how like the part of the strength of the mushroom, or why the mushroom is so powerful, is that when it grows, it connects with the entire earth from its base.
Yeah, it's like the spider webbing.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so you're getting nutrients or frequency healing from the entire earth from one mushroom. It contains the whole mycelium connection of all of the earth. And so I don't know. And then I started listening to him talking about frequencies and birds of
Then I
feather.
ate one, and then it really made sense. It really got my mind.
Well,
Now
be
it
very
makes
careful
sense.
eating mushrooms, but yeah, in the wild. But
The deer are doing it. That's fine.
But I think it's interesting, and when we talk about us being collective consciousness,
Mhm.
and then that's how we will, like, that is the Great Awakening, is when we realize that, and we stop killing each other because we realize you're hurting yourself, because we're all part of, and we stop being mean to each other, even.
Right. It's like, you might be trying to hurt me, but you're just hurting you, and you don't know it.
Right. Yeah,
I mean,
and you're hurting yourself generationally.
It really is.
Yeah.
Think about it. If you don't forgive people, you think about it. If you don't have forgiveness, it just eats you up. That person probably has no idea that they've shunned you and hurt you.
Oh, yeah.
They're just living their life, doing their thing. Not all the time, but in a lot of cases, that's the way it is. And it's like, sometimes they don't realize that they damaged you, and then they're just kind of going along doing their thing, and it's like, and then you're just harboring this thing, this eating at you. And, yeah. But if you just forgive them and say, F it, I don't care, whatever, is what it is, and then you just let it go, and then you feel a lot better. But there are times that you really want to, like choke somebody out too. I get it.
You might need, it depends. Like, I grew up with sisters.
And then bring them back, slap them back to reality.
Yeah, a little brother, but I had two sisters that were very close to me. And so there are some serious throwdowns that happened between sisters. You took my sweater without asking. Like, I'm pulling your hair.
Oh, yeah. Hellcats, man. Look out. It's on.
Yeah, on the counter. Like, it's going to go down. But at the same time, if someone ever came after one of my sisters.
Right.
Or vice versa.
Somebody's going to be missing some hair.
Yeah, God help them.
Yep.
Because they got all of us.
Right.
Coming after them.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Yep. It's kind of funny how that stuff works.
That's family, though, I guess.
Yep. Mm.
Don't mess with my frequency. I think that's a new shirt.
Yeah, don't mess up my frequency. Don't
mess with my frequency.
Don't detune me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Rock it up. Love it. Hey, did you see? I made a note of this because I thought it was fascinating. I actually tweeted it out. AP News.
Oh,
we got our own personal Jesus now. AI Jesus.
Personal.
Yes, Depeche Mode was very prophetic, because now it was in, I think, Lucerne, Switzerland. There was a church in Switzerland that was test running an AI Jesus in confessional booths. It was like a computer-generated AI Jesus that people could come confess to, and it would, pull scripture and do all this stuff. And it just makes me think, holy crap. But you can see this kind of stuff happening. I mean, to where things get automated. You go to a bank teller. No, that's a bad example. But I mean, go to the movie theater. Oh, you deal with an AI person. Oh, yes. What ticket would you like to show? Oh, let me walk you to the theater. That kind of thing. And yeah, there it is. There's personal Jesus right there. Everyone's going to have their own personal Jesus on the next Microsoft release. Windows.
You know what's so funny about this, that you're talking about this? So have you seen the ads for Gemini, which I believe is the Google phone's AI?
Okay.
Or is it the Android? I don't know. One of them, it's called Gemini. And they're like, yeah, but you just talk to it. But just like not weird.
Yeah, they have commercials where it's just like you sit and have a conversation.
But they're the example of one of them is helping him fix a car. One of them, the example is something else. But there are multiple examples of using the AI as a therapist.
Yeah. So what's that going to do to, the people that are getting, psychiatric degrees?
Getting psychiatric help from AI.
I mean, doctors, I can so see it to where a doctor, the profession of like diagnosis, the doctor will become irrelevant because they're limited to their experience. And it's like, I've seen this before, I've read about this. But if you've got an AI thing and you feed it, okay, these are all the symptoms, it can search all the databases, all the data banks, and all the research, all the studies, and like pull it back in seconds and say, here's the percentage that this is what you've got based on everything that you've said. And then if you do scans and that kind of thing, it just bolsters that. But I mean, if you think about it, it kind of makes sense that that's the way it's probably going to go.
That can't be good.
Well, I don't know.
Once again, is us looking outside of ourselves instead of trusting yourself, and with community and being able to use critical thinking with people that love you and have the best intention for you. Like, that just terrifies me. That people.
I can definitely see the good of it, just from the standpoint of accessing the knowledge that's out there in a very efficient way. But I can also see it getting to the point.
The knowledge is so manipulated.
Well, and that's the other thing too, because the knowledge might be knowledge that's real, let's just assume it's legitimate facts, that it pulls back, and research, that's legit. Let's just assume that. But at some point, somebody's making that thing has to like program it at some level. And there's still a human bias in it, and that can be skewed. I can see it at some point to where it's like, well, you're not leaving the hospital because you need to have this procedure. And if you don't have this procedure, then you lose all your insurance and you can't work at this job because this job requires that, who knows, where it leads once you're in that matrix system. That's the scary part.
Yeah.
It's like, I want to smoke cigars. I'm going to smoke cigars. Okay. That's what I'm going to do. So that's my choice. Thursday and Friday night, I'm going to come out here in the bar, smoke cigars, have some whiskey and bourbon, whatever it is. And that's what I'm going to do. And it's my choice. Yeah, I do what I do. Yeah. And that's on me. This is what it is.
That is your free will. And you know what? We all have our stuff. So
the willful destruction and self-immolation. Some people's thing. Are you entertained?
Are you entertained?
Yeah.
Because we're all about to be lost if we don't.
Your own personal Jesus coming to a computer near you.
That's terrible.
Speaking of coming to a place near me in Illinois, S is silent for all of you out there. Yuengling is going to be in Illinois, baby. I'm going to be able to buy some Yuengling.
Oh, great. I love it. I love that.
Have to bring it. And
yeah. I bring the flight.
Yeah. The Yuengling flight.
Oh, good. Why weren't they there before? I don't understand that.
I don't understand. It's like Coors Light, I guess, back in the Smokey and the Bandit thing. You couldn't get Coors Light past a certain point. I don't know if it had to be cold or something. I don't know what the whole story was with that, but it's just weird that some of those beers, they're only can't go to certain places.
Certain states.
Weird.
Yeah. Doesn't make sense.
It doesn't. But coming soon to a store near you, Yuengling.
That's exciting.
Mm-hmm. Or Ling Ling in Oklahoma. What do you call it? Ling Ling?
I think people call it Ying Ying.
Ying Ying. Ying Ying. That's it. Ying Ying.
I don't know what they call it.
Ying Ying.
We call it Ling Ling, I think.
I have no idea.
I don't know.
Organic cigarettes and bourbon for me, says Benny. The thing is, the Four Roses, I don't know if they still do it. They used to use non-GMO corn in the distilleries. And I don't know if that's still the case. That was one of two. It used to be, maybe it's not that way anymore, but it used to be Four Roses bourbon used organic corn, or I should say non-GMO corn. I don't know if it was organic. And then Wild Turkey also used non-GMO corn in the distillery. So I don't know if that's the case anymore, but some people say it doesn't make a difference. But I see what they spray on the corn, and I think it might.
Yeah. They were saying that, like, when people think they're gluten intolerant, it's not gluten, it's glyphosate.
Yeah.
And
That's
that's
a
what makes you
big
sick.
problem. Big
Yeah.
problem. But
So,
think of unwinding that and how that would affect a whole supply chain and disrupt it, which I'm all for. I don't care. I'm disrupt it all as far as I'm concerned. Do the right thing, and we'll figure it out. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of big money and a lot of investment in that nasty little thing called glyphosate.
well, and apparently RFK is just really disturbing people because he's saying, like,
Good for him.
January 20th, we're outlawing Pop-Tarts. And
I don't know. He didn't say that, did he?
supposedly
He
he
can't
did.
outlaw Pop-Tarts.
My husband said he did. But
I don't know.
if he
I
was
saw
talking
I
about
saw a
them.
tweet about it, but I don't know if it's. I mean, I don't think he has
Well,
that power.
they could outlaw, not him, but they could outlaw
A
the
product
dyes
that's
and
in it,
the
an
ingredients.
ingredient that's in it.
Talking
Yeah,
about
like
getting rid of a lot of the
right, Red
artificial
Dye 40
dyes.
or whatever it is. Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of the
Blue
dyes
Lake.
and stuff that make people sick.
Right, which is
And
good. I
that
mean, you
kind
used to use beet juice to color things, and now it's the synthetic stuff that like sticks inside your body and pollutes your gut. And
yeah.
food coloring. Ugh.
I do want to talk a little bit more about this too. So we had a vote of lack of confidence. And the guy that was put in supposedly, like, is now like the shortest. So the fact that Trump is going to France, and that's where they just had this vote of lack of confidence, and they're basically ousting the selected guy and it's been like less than 3 months or something. Sorry, we just sold something that he's been in. And so then people are kind of like tying it to Le Pen actually won.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Followed
because there's
Le
the big thing
Pen.
about that in the votes, and they're like, how did that happen? It looked like she was going to win pretty big.
Interesting. And so they're saying that the day that Notre Dame burned, which was that April 14th, was it 2018 or 19?
2019.
2019.
Yeah.
Was kind of like the day that all the satanic stuff was taken down. Also, Russia announced that they are denouncing the Church of Satan.
Oh.
That was yesterday, I think. And so, like, all this, but then there's this, of course, Disney, good old Disney's got to stay in there. They put out a new Christmas special this year with Jack Black, where a kid has like dyslexia and he writes "Dear Satan" instead of "Dear Santa."
Oh, haha, so funny.
Yeah, and then Satan comes and like gives him 3 wishes, but then wants his soul. So I don't know, is that like a exposure of the kind of deals that Hollywood's been doing for a long time?
Possible. They're like, well, they do tell you the truth in their own little haha funny way.
Yeah.
Not so funny.
It's not so funny.
Yeah, no, that wouldn't surprise me. But yeah, I mean, it's just like, okay, come on. It's really not. It's like you're kind of over the top on this stuff. You're trying really way too hard to push this stuff on people and make it normal. I don't know. It's just two things going on at the same time, I think.
Yeah. And all these hearings, people are like really seeing, well, if they're paying attention, like the House Judiciary, they're saying like, oh, do you think your finances are private? And they're starting to like show how much that the Fed has weaponized the banks with the Secrecy Acts. I don't know, all of this stuff. It just feels so much more like that they are disclosing everything, more than things are getting so bad. Janine had a dream or a vision or whatever a long time ago, and she was like, it's like I'm driving and it's like danger, warning, danger, danger, danger signs. And she's like, the danger signs were getting worse going forward. But then while I'm driving, the road's actually getting better and the weather's getting better and things are actually getting better, even though the signs are saying it's worse. And I kind of feel like that's where we are. Like people are kind of like hearing about all the horrible stuff.
Right, but what's in your face? What's your experience? And that's the thing. You can think that this is what's happening out there because it's, oh my gosh, the world's burning. You know, every time you watch the news, you know, they pick and choose all the little things that are horrible. But wait a minute, all the other things that were happening around there that were beautiful and wonderful and not a problem, you know, it doesn't make the news because it's not news. You know, it's not exciting and it's not a train wreck, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Speaking of train wrecks, they forced a judge made an order that Fannie has to disclose all communication to do with that.
Oh, I didn't see that. Fannie Willis.
Yeah.
Fannie Wills.
Her Fannie's going to be hanging out in the.
Won't be the first time. Just ask that one guy that she went partying with.
Yeah.
On little trips with.
Mm-hmm. And then
her employee or whatever.
Her boyfriend.
She was the one that appointed him like a special prosecutor or something, and
I don't know. She just gave him a job and then flew him around.
Yeah, then they're like partying together and going on little trips and paying for it on the dime, public dime.
There are also court orders, FDA to produce additional 1 million pages on the Pfizer C19 injection. Like, I cannot believe they're still pushing that thing at Walgreens and everywhere else. Like,
oh yeah,
at some place.
John Legend loves it. He's always playing the piano talking about it. I see him. Travis Kelce loves it. He's like 2 in 1, baby. 2 in 1. 2 Band-Aids, same time.
I just think it's insane.
And I'm like, you guys ain't even getting it. You're just getting paid. Shut up.
It's crazy. It's so crazy to me.
I know. Let me get this dog in.
And Thoran, my taste buds have changed. So I used to love Dirty Secret about Lisa.
Come on.
I used to love those little Debbie Christmas tree snack cake things. And so like mom knew, oh, it's Christmas, Thanksgiving. So she bought them knowing that I used to love them. And I'm like, please don't do that to me. But so like when we were there for Thanksgiving, I went and I got one for her and one for me. Cause I was like, look, you bought these. I'm having one, but I'm having one and I'm making you eat one with me. And I opened it and it smelled the same. And then I took a bite and it was like
wrong.
Disgusting.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's because we've been eating so much better with Charlie cooking and, you know, we don't really go out and whatever. And I don't really have sugar anymore, but it was just disgusting. Like there was no joy at all in eating it. And so or is that like, are we all kind of, you know, starting to crave things that are good for us?
I mean, that could be too. I mean, my wife had that issue to where, I don't know if it was during the whole COVID thing. And I mean, she got something, you know, and then after that, though, there's certain foods that she used to love. She can't eat it. Can't eat peppers anymore. Just love peppers. Can't eat them. It just smells like gasoline, she says. It's weird.
I did that with onions during the Great Infection, but now I'm over it. But it was for a little while. She
still got the issue. So I don't know what happened. Something got rewired. Who knows? Who knows what it even was? I mean, you know, everything was, COVID. You know, everything. Flu. You know, so who knows what strain of whatever it is that you had. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah. Yes, the whole oil thing is very I'm very sensitive to all the oils now. So like we use like even the avocado oil is a seed oil, right? Or is it not?
I don't know what, I mean, it's got a seed in it. So I don't, maybe technically, but you know, I'm not really sure what the properties of that
I know it's not like cotton seed oil, like, you know,
right, rapeseed oil and that kind of
vegetable oil or whatever.
Yeah.
But so we've been
coconut oil for me, baby. I'm nuts. I'm crazy. I like the coconut.
Coconut oil is supposed to be
it hits the body differently.
And it's high in MCT oil, all that. Or, processed.
You remember they used to use coconut oil in the movie theaters. and to cook the popcorn.
for the
And then they took it out because like, oh, saturated fat's bad. You can't have saturated fats. And so they replaced with all these seed oils, all these vegetables, you know, and now if you track that, I mean, I'm sure it's all these things that they do. You know, they just turn it on its head and invert it. You know, that's again the satanic thing. They invert things and try to tell you that, oh no, this is good for you. When I'm basically like, if they tell me it's good for me, I'm tend not to believe it. You know, if it's mainstream and it's just getting pushed, and if they tell me that it's bad, I'm kind of in the mindset of, well, you know what? There's probably something good about it that they're trying to make you not participate in. I mean, that's the crazy way to look at things, but that's just, I don't know.
So there was also an article which I shared in a chat that where a bunch of us are in that talked about tallow when you're drinking helps protect the liver because the high fat content somehow protects your liver from
Floats it up, baby, so you can't absorb it and it flows through.
something like that. I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe.
But
could be.
Talked about it. But yeah, so Charlie watched one of the chefs that he watched where they were talking about like getting it's called like ghee or something like this.
Yeah, you boil the butter
ghee
down
because
and
it's not
separate the butter layer.
Yeah, but he doesn't burn it, so it's not ghee. It's just like clarified butter, I guess, and you remove the protein, and then it can sit out on the counter because it doesn't have the protein to go bad or whatever. And it has a higher cooking point or heat point or whatever.
Yeah, I got you.
And so he just cooks with that mostly. So
makes sense. Find what works. Stick with it.
Stick with it. I know. Oh, also an article came out about hot dogs this week. It was disgusting.
We all know that though, right?
Well, just wait, Westwood, because you're about to hear something.
I went to Walmart yesterday and it just smelled like hot dog water everywhere.
You do not want to hear this. They tested all of these meats, hot dog and sausage type meats, and more than 6% of them had human DNA in them. And 10% of the vegetarian
I know.
fake meat.
Now, Cliff High got into this at one point.
DNA in it.
Cliff High got into this at one point, and he kind of poo-pooed it because he said that, you're working in the factory, somebody sweats in it or somebody, a little this or that gets in it. And I don't know, he had this whole long thing on it to where it might not necessarily be like human flesh, but the DNA might have come from other sources, which aren't good either. I mean, either way.
10%.
That's a lot.
Of veggie patties.
Ooh, yummy. Good stuff. Soylent Green.
You gotta find something else to eat.
You know what? The only time I eat that stuff is when you guys are here, when we're cooking on the
traveling.
grill. I mean, we're cooking on the grill or something, and it's convenient. It's like so I can fit in. It'd be cool, Instead of eating the dead animal, I get some dead human beings and cook it up on the grill.
I know. So I had to share that. My son-in-law was over the other day, and he was asking about they were talking about eating sandwich meat or whatever, and he's like, "Oh, I love a bologna sandwich." I was like, "Oh my God, you cannot eat that," And I was telling him about what might be in it and all that, and then this article came out, and I shared it with him, and he goes, "Oh, I'll go to McDonald's and get a burger," and I said, "Did you ever notice the sign? A million served." They weren't talking about the people's eating the burgers. He's just like, "Lisa, stop talking to me." La la la. He's just
to serve man. It's a cookbook. The Twilight Zone episode where it's like, there's the book. The aliens come to serve man, and they think, oh, they're here to serve us and make things better. And then at the end, it's like, no, to serve man's a cookbook. Don't go with them.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that's a famous Twilight Zone episode.
That's terrible.
Yeah, it's a cookbook.
Okay. Failed. Oh.
No, they are vampires. There's a reason why I call them that. I'm saying.
Yeah, the UK is providing cash incentive. Okay. This makes no sense. The UK has unveiled plans to provide cash incentives to the families of elderly citizens who choose euthanasia. I thought it was to the people that were choosing euthanasia. I'm like, they don't need the cash where they're going. So now they're going to have them incentivizing people to kill their elderly family members.
Basically, yeah. Just exterminate them. They're useless eaters at this point. We'll give you a reward too. It's like, the mayor of New York. You get this wonderful cheeseburger if you go get your shot, and fries too. Remember that?
Disgusting. Yeah.
Remember him? I don't remember.
They
his
were
name.
also telling kids at school, giving them free pizza parties if they would get jabbed and promise not to tell their parents.
Oh, brother. Yeah, it's what a sick system. Very sick. RFK, we got a sick system. We need to heal it.
Yeah.
It's sick.
I have a lot of work to do, for sure. A lot of work.
That's for sure. I don't know. Meanwhile, I'll try not participate as much as possible.
Yeah, try to opt out. Did you see that? Do you know about the Daniel Penny case? So he was in a subway thing.
Oh, the choker?
Yes, and there was a guy who was mentally disturbed and threatening to hurt people or something, and so he choked this guy out to cause him to not. Is my understanding?
Incapacitate him. Yeah.
My understanding of this situation is that he choked him out so that he couldn't hurt someone.
Right.
And then but I guess the guy died.
Yeah.
And so they just the manslaughter charges are now been dismissed today.
Oh, okay.
So that was really interesting.
So
maybe it was considered like self-defense or defense of people in the.
Well, it obviously wasn't premeditated or anything. And it's not like he was out trying to hurt somebody to begin with. It was like responding to I think the argument was that, I don't know if he was former military or whatever it was. He had the capabilities and he should have known when to stop, is I think was the whole thing. Because if I did something like that, it's like, I don't know. I'm going to choke them out till they can't move. And, if I choke them too long, maybe they don't wake up. And I'm like, oh, shoot, I didn't mean to do that. But I'm not skilled in that, to know at what point do you quit? Because once I start, I don't know when to stop. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not trained correctly.
Well, that's where, when we're out and stuff, that's why Charlie hates going out.
Mm-hmm. I don't want to have to use the tools.
Yeah, now that he,
I don't want to have to open the toolbox.
3rd degree black belt.
Right.
They tell you what with great responsibility,
Yeah, with great power comes great responsibility. And that's the thing. I mean, if something ever happened to where it's like, didn't mean to do it and somebody took a hit the wrong way and dies or something, it's like, well, you should have known better. You have lethal force behind you. It's like carrying a weapon. You are the weapon. And it's like.
Okay, Benny's got information. He said he was a Navy SEAL, but there are Good Samaritan laws. So somehow I guess that protected him.
Right, because he wouldn't have done that if it weren't for what was happening and the threat that it presented to all these other people. I don't know if the guy had a knife or what happened, what kind of threat it was, but I mean,
no, he was threatening.
Knife's a deadly weapon. I mean, you've seen people, I've seen these videos where people get involved. Next thing you know, their jugular's slit and they're bleeding out, just trying to stop somebody with a knife. I mean, all it takes is worse than a bullet a lot of times.
So there are, as much as there are some injustices, like we're hearing these stories about the UK doing insane things to old people, there are some good things happening too. Somebody who does a benevolent thing for the community that they're in. Like, we need more men standing up and
and not just holding a camera, and watching.
Not just watching someone do something bad. Yeah.
Right.
And so, I think that's important. So
yeah,
good to hear.
I mean, it just makes sense. I mean, when there's a wrong, you try and right it. And unfortunately, I mean, the guy might have been mentally ill, whatever it is, but you don't know that. You can't assess it. I mean, how many times? Again, if you're a police officer, after the fact, it's like, well, he was mentally ill, and it's like, yeah, but we don't know that. What was happening at the time, and it's just, how do you know? How do you disarm it? How do you, and so a lot of times it goes wrong.
Whether you're mentally ill or not, you're still accountable for your actions.
Exactly. And that's the thing. When you do something wrong and you violate someone else's, rights, it doesn't matter. You're wrong. And we can't just say, oh, I'm sorry, you were brain damaged. I mean, it doesn't matter. You're not going to take somebody else's liberties away just because you're brain damaged.
Right.
I mean, maybe you need to be in a hospital. I don't know. And maybe you didn't get the help you needed, but you can't be taking away somebody else's personal life or liberty.
It does not make it right for you to then harm other people.
No.
And to say, well, I have mental illness.
Well, if that were the case, then all of Congress is, accountable, right? I mean, they're all brain damaged. Well, not all of them. A lot of them are. I mean, look what they do to us.
Yeah.
There's no excuse.
Yeah. No, for sure. Crazy stuff. Crazy
Talking
stuff.
crap in the bar.
Talking crap in the bar. I finally got my Mighty Mia cartoon from my friend Joe Dorman. Thank you, Joe. So they were doing this. Joe had an idea. They do a thing where they try to get kids to submit ideas and become kid governor for the year. And so he created a cartoon talking about how a bill becomes a law, kind of like that old Capitol Hill bill thing. And the artists on it started drawing children, and then people were like, hey, that looks like Lisa Davis's kids. And of course OICA, which puts this out, also does a lot to support kids in foster care and that get adopted out of foster care. And so I've worked with them. That's where OK Foster Wishes, the work that I did for 13 years, providing Christmas gifts and helping kids graduate from high school. That's where all that work went once I had to kind of leave the nonprofit world. And so it was just really sweet. And I want to give him a big shout out and tell him thank you for honoring Mighty Mia, especially, but even then the other little one, her sidekick looks just like Cannon.
It does.
And is Dynabit.
Crazy.
So there's Mighty Mia and Dynabit, the
Dynabit.
twin wonder power that are fighting for democracy. And then in the end of this, it's really cool. They have where they ask the kids, what's your big idea? What's your one big idea? And they want the kids to write in. And then they have them, who will your idea benefit? What steps can you and your family take? And then tear this out, send it to OICA. And then from that, every year they nominate a new kid governor. So here was the kid governor for 2023, Mila, and her big idea won. And so I think it's great to get a great way to get kids involved. It has some like vocabulary in the back and some word puzzle things and word crosses and stuff. Anyway, I thought it was pretty cool. And I was very honored that they were very conscientious of like at first they made her hair real swoopy and white girl hair. And I was like, can I just have a talk with you about like
it's not kosher?
That no, I don't want to be a jerk, but I'm like,
no, but I mean, let's just, it is what it is. I mean, different, people have different characteristics. I mean, it's just what makes, it's different.
Curly hair that was so beautiful. We loved, and she wore it, we always did it natural and had little hair bows and hair bands. And so that's what they did. And anyway, I just thought they did a really great job. And I love that it's going to help teach other kids about, getting involved, because that's how we fix it, right? Is that we all get involved.
Yeah. If everybody were involved and we just said, listen, everybody shows up and says, we're done here. We're not doing this. I mean, the pressure of just the sheer volume of people would be enough. They'd respond, but instead, if we're complacent, we just kind of let it go. Then it's like, who am I having lunch with today? And how much did they donate to my campaign? Okay, yes, I'll vote for that.
Right.
I mean, if you don't stop them, they're just going to take the path of least resistance.
Yeah. Big Rich was, or Rich from Big and Rich posted today or yesterday, like, if anybody wants to run against Joni, what's her face? Because I guess she's like a rhino. He's like, I will happily take my tour bus all over the state supporting you.
Nice.
And like get her out of there. And because we need real Americans that care about America to be, in these positions. And so,
what do you mean? We don't want somebody like Nancy Pelosi that is worth $227 million?
No, we do not.
I saw that today. I think it was 227 million. Like, really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's insane. But we're done with that. But you're seeing things where like Texas has been making deals with different countries. This week, Oklahoma signed a deal with Denmark to provide energy. I don't know if that's natural gas or what that is, but interesting that our states are behaving. And there was a court case. Was it Virginia or was it Pennsylvania? There was a Supreme Court case that basically said like the states' rights were more important than the big government. It was just recently.
But I mean, that should be like common sense if we,
Well,
go back
it's
in
just
history.
reiterating the Constitution, but
Right, because it's like, didn't have a union unless enough states came together and volunteered into this thing. So therefore the states have the power to like unwind the whole thing. If you can volunteer into it, and that was the whole Civil War thing, war between the states. It's like, oh, well, then we have the right to secede then, and we're going to do our own thing. So F you. No, you can't do that. We're going to come make sure you don't do that. And so that's the real problem right there. Like states' rights, right of the state should be sovereign. No, you're not sovereign. F you.
Have I talked to you about Raiklen yet?
Ivan, the terrible?
Yes, that's who I got in a fight with Sean about this week.
Oh, really? Well, okay.
So
go ahead. Go ahead.
So I was trying to explain that Ivan has this list of 350 deep staters that he says he has all the proof. And he said, so, how we were talking about, so I was wanting to talk about martial law because of what happened in Korea this week.
Yeah.
And how, like, let's go through Grok and let's grok it up and let's see, like, what is martial law? And it's like, that's freaking scary because it removes our rights.
You have no rights. They're suspended.
And that's a dangerous place to be. So
Bad place to be.
I'm not interested in that. So I'm like, how is, if the military is the only way, like we keep hearing, how is that going to happen without suspending our individual rights? Well, then I start listening to Ivan Raiklen, who he is a Green Beret, former attorney, but Green Beret. And he has this list and he has all the proof and he's already been talking to Jim Jordan. He's already been talking to all the people.
All right.
And their plan is, and we've been talking about this some, and I've showed videos on this channel where like, why is the Oklahoma AG talking about human trafficking and they were doing this big bust and not just in Oklahoma, and they're working with the sheriffs, and you're seeing all these sheriffs like that big badass sheriff in is it Broward County or somewhere in Florida that he goes up and he shows.
I know. I know what you're talking about. Yeah. I can't remember the county. It's not Flagler.
Somewhere in Florida. But anyway, and so Ivan Raiklen explains that there are more than 80,000 former military who left early, retired, or were forced out because they refused the jab, but they are standing and ready and coordinated and to
kind of like a little militia on the sidelines almost
to work with constitutional sheriffs at a local level and to be deputized. And he said the standard has been set by them raiding Alex Jones, swatting Alex Jones while he's live on air. The other side has already set the standard, so they cannot be belittled or looked down if then the good guys do the same damn thing to the evil ones. And he said that they're going to have like probably not shows like ours, but Alex Jones shows or like the podcasters have been chosen to do ride-alongs and are going to be live streaming.
Bad boys, what you going to do? What you going to do when they come?
He said it will be peaceful and lawful.
Yeah, I mean, it is completely lawful. I've said that before. At some point, the sheriff can just deputize the whole county and say, guess what? Yeah, feds, you ain't coming in. That kind of thing.
Yep.
And so, yeah, I mean, that's a pathway.
It's really exciting to listen to him talk, and he's very intelligent. He's very specific. He's also not. So a lot of times these people say, oh, I have information and whatever, but I can't disclose it to you. No. Ivan's like, here's my list.
Tune in next week. Same bat time, same bat channel for the next week. Yep. Next drop.
Here's my list. and here is the 350 people I'm going to be picking up, and this is what to expect, and this is how it's going to go down, and the end. Like, there's no bullshit about him. So I'm very excited and hopeful. I think that is a way that we don't have to go into a situation of martial law where our civil rights are suspended for
Right.
the military, people that
Right.
have training to do this kind of
Well,
call
yeah, because that's always concerned me too, because, a standing army was something that, the founding fathers found they didn't want a standing army. We're not supposed to have a standing army.
Mhm.
For that very reason, that it can be, used, in the wrong way, by one guy controlling it.
Mhm.
And so, yeah, that's what the military is in a sense. You got one guy, they follow orders. I mean, that's what they do. I mean, they're, right or wrong, whatever it is, it's not their role to really question in a lot of cases. I mean, you really should, because you swear an oath to the Constitution, don't you? But I mean, you do follow orders. There's a chain of command, and so, sometimes you might do things that you just don't. You just do it. Whereas this is a different route, different avenue, which is an interesting path, I think.
No, I think it's really
More of a
exciting.
militia style. I said that kind of a militia style, which was kind of the intent originally. Hey, if there's a problem, we're going to have a well-armed militia, at the ready, as that's necessary in a free state.
Yeah, this is so cool. So this is when he was like being questioned by Congress or whatever. And I guess Wendy Rogers jumped in. So Senator Shamp says, I understand you're spending your own time, your own resources, investing, educating, why? And Wendy Rogers jumps in and says, because he loves America. And I mean, he is like, oh, so here he's talking about the French, Chris French. Sorry, not the French. So Navy JAG submitted his resignation. He said, once you're on this is his deep state traitor list or something like that. This is his list, DSTL. There's only one way off it. Maximum legal, moral, and ethical. That's how he says it. Legal, moral, and ethical. So,
if you think about it in my head, I'm just kind of rolling it through my head a little bit, to where, if you've got people who are, like the military, you got a commander in chief, okay, and they're more, they follow the orders of the commander in chief, I guess. They listen to him. But if you have, let's say, a smaller group that the sheriff appoints, that's actually closer to the people and more accountable, in a sense. You know what I mean? Because it's closer to the actual people. The sheriff is closer to the people than the president is. And to me, the closer that power is, and he's an elected guy, by the county, just like the president, but the president's the whole country. Whereas, you're becoming more sovereign, I think, if it's a sheriff appointing people as deputizing them, it's more accountable and directly accountable to the people than the military could ever be, if that makes sense.
Well, it does, because you're in a community.
Yeah, I mean, you're right there. You know who the sheriff is. He lives in, near you. Yes. You know who he is, and you know where he goes to work. And, and
it's not
right
just
there.
him, because his actions are going to have repercussions to his family
immediately
in a community.
And you're very close to your actions. You're very close to the things that you do. The repercussions are immediate in some cases. Whereas a president, it's a whole different thing. It's different level.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's a thought.
It's very interesting. So I don't know, that I thought was some exciting and positive information. The whole Kash Patel thing. Are you?
I don't know enough about him. I've seen some of the things that he said, and they sound good. But again, I hear others. It's like all these guys. I mean, it's just like there's things that I see that are positive that could definitely. And then there's other things I'm like, I don't know, man. Is this the right person? And it's just, I don't know. I'm of the mindset, I'm just going to watch it play out, because it looks like a Zionist cabinet, on the surface. But again, it's not done yet. You know what I mean? It's getting vetted, before it gets vetted in Congress and by the Senate, you know what I mean? And the public opinion is vetting it, and so it's got to play out, I think, a little bit longer, because nothing's done yet. You know what I mean? We can argue about it and get all upset about it, but they're not in power. You know, they're not doing anything yet.
Well, they keep showing.
They might not get there. You know, they might not. You know, it might.
Yeah.
You know, we saw the guy that was the DEA choice, and they're like, hell no, and he withdrew because everybody's like, no way, and that was it. He's gone. So there might be a. Yeah, I mean, who knows? I mean, there's until it happens, we don't know. Yeah, so I'm just kind of reserving a little bit of judgment on all
I
that.
think that's smart. And
Yeah, I mean,
you know, Uncle Cliff said like to hold things lightly
Right.
right now,
I agree.
because you just don't know. You know, we're clearly in a movie. We're clearly
Yeah.
being shown. You know, we've been manipulated by mainstream media for so long, and then there are these alternative medias trying to get information out. But there's also some bad actors in that, and so you
Mhm.
want to know what you know to be real and true in your life. That is what you know. But anything else, like
Right.
you do
Yeah,
want
don't get whipped up into the emotion of it and investing, you know, your staking your soul and spirit into the whole thing when, I mean, it's, you know, it's not like, yeah, like you said, is that a reality yet? It's not even a reality. It's just it's an idea that it's not even there. So I don't know. Yeah.
It's crazy.
Your reality is your reality. Trust your gut, trust your instincts is really what it comes down to, and make affect the change that you can do at your level. And that's going to be far more powerful in your life than anything these guys can, you know, potentially do, I think.
Oh, also service announcement to friends with personal businesses, whatever. So I have a friend who's a CPA who has been like, warning, do not submit the thing with the Transparency Act, which when I went through that, when they were talking about that, I went and looked at legislation, and it never went through legislation. It was just FinCEN making a demand, an announcement. So it's completely unconstitutional, which I had said this a very long time ago, but of course nobody listens to me. Well, some people do, and thank you for being here that are listening, because I love you and I'm trying to tell you things that I want to help you, that I think will help all of us.
Screaming from the wilderness here.
Sometimes I feel like it, and then I'm like, finally, I'm like, see, I was right. Okay.
You didn't hear me? I was yelling at you.
I was screaming for you to be careful, and you burned yourself anyway. But anyway, so on Tuesday, a Texas judge said Corporate Transparency Act and the BOI rule were likely unconstitutional. So they are, do not fill that form out. Do not dox yourself to FinCEN until, like, let's wait till the final hour. See what happens December 31st. And then if you really think, oh God, I'm going to have to pay $500 a day, like, I don't know. I just don't think it's going to happen. I think it's unconstitutional. And I think it's very dangerous for us to be forced to giving our personal and business information to a 3-letter agency that we're not allowed to look at their books, you know? So just know there is some good stuff happening in Texas, and in the courts there are some positive things happening.
What was the other thing that got struck down? I can't remember. There was a court thing. What was it that got thrown out here yesterday or today?
Oh,
shoot.
That's probably
someone in the chat might know. Yeah, I'm just like, something said it was unconstitutional to do something, and I can't remember what it was now. I don't know. Too much information.
I know there's stuff coming up about the 2A. Or Ivan's been talking about that. There's
yeah, I don't know.
More and more states like kicking out dyes and chemtrails and stuff. Clarence Thomas, Supreme Court. Clarence Thomas on Wednesday overrode Justice Elena Kagan in a high-profile. It's involving the COVID stuff.
Does not Elena Kagan, does she not look like, what was the movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger where he goes to Mars? Total Recall, is that what it was? I don't know, where they got the masks on. She looks like she's wearing this big old Jabba mask or something.
Yeah.
I mean, when you look at it, it's just
It does not
unnatural.
look natural.
It looks just Star Wars-ish or sci-fi-ish. That's just my opinion. I don't know.
Oh, I am's asking, is it transgender surgery? I know there were several states that have already
I don't think that was
outlawed that. I know Oklahoma did and made it like child abuse. Basically.
Yeah, there was something. I don't know.
No
what
rules.
difference at this point does it make?
Okay.
I've forgotten it.
We'll have to talk about it on Spaces if we can.
I guess it'll come up. It'll pop up. Yes. Talk about Michael Saylor, and I can rant again about Bitcoin maximalism and
I'm so tired of talking about
run everybody out of the freaking.
Okay, so one more thing I want to talk about: reverse of Michael Saylor, Free Roger.
Yes.
If you go to, I believe it is freeroger.com. I did it on my phone when we were driving home, so now I don't have like Free Roger. But it's really simple. freerogernow.org. Sorry. Okay. So freerogernow.org. And you can very easily sign a petition to get Trump to put him on his pardon list for like the first day or whatever.
I want to see a lot of pardons the first day. I want to see a sign, Ross, Roger Ver.
But this story is when nobody came for the whateverist, I didn't say anything. And, when they
came for the Jews and they came for the shop owners or whatever, and then pretty soon they came for you and there ain't nobody left.
There was nobody left.
Nobody left to defend you and look out for you.
And so the IRS has targeted him since he was 20 years old, because when he ran for not president, but he ran for some seat or something.
I don't remember what it
was. When he was a kid, and his whole thing was that taxation was theft.
Which it is.
So then when he was in his 20s, he was selling some kind of explosive. And I talked about this yesterday on the show with Johnny.
Yeah.
I won't get into it too much here, but you guys, there's videos, there's information. You can freerogernow.com. Go and you can have.
Is that not the right to bear arms, though? Hey, I'm just trying to find gold. I'm blowing stuff up.
Well, the irony is that Cabela's was selling this stuff as well, but they didn't go after Cabela's, but they would go after this 20-year-old kid. And during the negotiation or the mediation between his attorneys and the IRS people, they said, because the IRS, I guess, is part of the tobacco firearms.
ATF.
Some weird connection. Somehow.
Okay.
And they said, so when they said, why don't you just fine him or tell him he can't do that anymore? Why are you putting this kid in jail for 10 months? And they said, because he said it. He said taxation is theft. And
my gosh.
They literally said that in the negotiation. And so this is
that's tyranny. I mean, that's just absolute outright tyranny.
Yeah. So then he was put into prison, as a 20-year-old kid away from his family. And so as soon as he got out, he's like, oh my God, I live in this this tyrannical government. I'm getting the fuck out. And so he tried every legal and lawful way to get out. He had attorney's advice and CPA's advice that he followed because when you leave the U.S.
You got to give up asset forfeiture, whatever it is, tax,
you died. Yeah. And so he had to do all that. He listened to his attorney and his CPAs, and then he mailed in stuff, and they said he mailed something wrong. So he mailed it a second time. So they charged him twice.
Oh, fraud or something?
Mail fraud, because they used his paperwork and demanded that he mail in another copy. It's so criminal.
It makes you wonder, it really makes you wonder, did they create the monster?
Yes.
In other words, or was there something there before that they targeted? I don't know, maybe some super freaking mind reading stuff, pre-crime, AI, like Minority Report stuff. Did they see something in him that said, he's going to be a threat? And they're looking at this future Orient Cube stuff, and Looking Glass stuff, and they realize this guy's dangerous. We need to hit him hard now when he's 20. I don't know. That gets real woo and conspiratorial, but it's like, why come down so hard on somebody like that? I don't know. It's an interesting case study, I guess.
Yeah, and so Jake says, but it's illegal to use tannerite as an explosive device, just saying. And he's got little jokey faces. Yeah, but why is it okay?
Right to bear arms, baby. Bring on my tank.
Well, there you go.
I
But
mean,
why is it okay for Cabela's to sell it, but not
Right.
a 20-year-old kid?
Yeah. Well, you know, they're part of the corporation, the corporate state, you know, and they're registered statute. Mouse. Just saw a mouse.
Oh God, are you serious?
Yeah, that's right there. I just rolled. Yeah.
You
Gotta
got to
put
get a
some poison
trap.
out. Nah, I just poison them. Let them eat. Last Supper.
I just put those glue traps out.
See, I resonate with elephants for a reason. I'm just like,
I'm terrified.
move too quickly. That's the thing. I'm like, oh, whoa, hey.
He gets mad at me for killing a spider on his bar,
I
but
know.
he's fine with killing the mouse.
I'll let that. Well, I give him a Last Supper though. He gets a final meal. You know, just gracefully just
There
go.
you go. There you go.
Where's that cat? What's that cat doing? I'm not feeding that cat. The cat shows up and we feed it all this food and stuff. I'm like, I told her, quit feeding the cat.
Yeah, the cat needs to go to work.
The cat's gonna get in here. You know, I'm gonna lock it up for a day and get at it.
Yes, that would be very smart. Just make sure you put a somewhere for it to go to the bathroom as well. 'Cause it's nasty.
Cat's gonna do what a cat's gonna do.
All right, guys. Well, we'll see you guys tonight on Space.
AR-15 will take care of that mouse. Come on, man.
Oh, well, sure it will. Use case, you know.
Yeah, I'll have a hole in the door or something. You know, shotgun.
So,
Can't miss.
we'll see you guys on Twitter Spaces tonight. Make sure you follow Clint Westwood in the link below. You can go to clintwestwood.net for lots of great tips and information, education,
Yep.
and all the ways to follow this wonderful.
If you're new to crypto, there's a lot of good introductory videos, a lot of good information on you know, the proof of work coins that are important, and you know, go out there and just, I mean, it's a little clearinghouse, you know, if you're new to crypto, where you can do some research and, you know, cut your teeth a little bit and learn. And that's what it's there for.
He has curated it nicely for
As
you.
much as I can, you know.
Yes, one location to kind of use a Westwood library of
Kind of. Yeah,
knowledge.
a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. There you go.
All right. Well, we'll see you guys tonight on Twitter Spaces. Love to you all. And don't get all, be nice to each other because we're going through some Mercury retrograde thing. And so
Yes, be nice to everybody, even the Bitcoin maximalists. I know I gotta stop. You know, I gotta quit ranting so much about all that, and you know, have a little grace.
yeah,
All these
I mean,
vampires.
we can all take a joke every once in a while, but like, let's just be nice because mostly we love each other. So
Yeah.
anyway, all right. Love to you all.
Trust
See
yourselves.
you guys tonight. Bye.